If I had to sum up Zamboanga del Norte in one word, it would be spirit. Visiting during an annual festival, the air sizzles with pride of place and a sense of community. And then there are the powerful ties to historical figures who shaped our country. The spirit of our past lingers in centuries-old ancestral homes. At the shrine, watched over by women in white, whose faces light up when they speak of Dapitan's most treasured son. And the beach paradise that lures sun worshippers. Zamboanga del Norte. Even with a snazzy 21st century nickname like Zanorte, the spirit of the past simmers boldly within her and fills the air. It's a quick trip from Manila, just an hour and 20 minutes via Cebu Pacific. Dapitan first appeared on European maps as early as 1598. But history buffs know that Dapitan was also where Dr. Jose Rizal was sent to live in exile for 4 years. And what a glorious 4 years it was. There's plenty to unearth, so many riches to discover here in this historical city. So take a trip back in time with me, right here on Snapshot Asia with Canon. Dacac in the city of Dapitan, with its powdery sands and its crystal calm blue waters, this place has been a tourist magnet for many, many years, and it's so easy to see why. Nestled on the tip of northern Zamboanga, Dacac faces the Sulu Sea in the west, and on the east it is flanked by mountains. Negros, Cebu, and Bohol lie to the north. To its south is the Mindanao mainland, with Borneo and Sarawak beyond the Celebes Sea. These large islands keep typhoons away, making Dacac an all-season mecca for sun worshippers. It is as untouched by commercialism as it is from elements of the weather. Dacac remains pure and exclusive, and the city around it has resisted the onslaught of rapid progress. In stark contrast to other beach resorts with their buzzy night spots, Dacac Beach Resort surprisingly has this spiritual center. A tiny chapel on a hill, built using blocks of what looks like coral. With the sea to the west, the chapel at sunset must be quite a stirring sight. Maybe that's why it was built on this very spot. As rumblings of a revolution began to trouble the Spanish government in Manila, the blame fell on Dr. Jose Rizal. So, to keep him out of trouble, the authorities sent him away to exile here. That it was a sentence of any kind is actually kind of difficult to see. Dr. Jose Rizal was deported to Dapitan in July of 1892. The site on which he landed is marked by this monument. He lived in exile for 4 years, leaving only to stand trial in 1896 and rise to martyrdom. Yet of all the cities Rizal lived in, perhaps only Dapitan can boast of a story tinged not with blood, but with brilliance. Rizal found it a sleepy town, but he was determined to change all that. Flush with money from a winning lottery ticket, he spent his entire prize of 6,000 pesos and turned this quiet corner into his personal paradise. He bought 16 hectares for the princely sum of 18 pesos. The sight of the land, Rizal wrote in a letter to his mother, about a half hour from the sea, is poetical and picturesque. For 4 years, Dr. Rizal flourished, writing, teaching, practicing medicine, sculpting. He became a gentleman farmer, using equipment he ordered from America. He was perhaps at his most peaceful here. His mother and sisters kept him company for many months in a house he built himself. In a letter to his friend Ferdinand Blumentritt, Rizal wrote, "From my house, I hear the murmur of a clear brook, which comes from the high rocks. I see the seashore, where I keep 2 boats." He tapped into his artistic side, and together with a friend, the priest Father Sanchez, Rizal created this map of Mindanao out of stones, grass, and soil. He put up a school and had 17 students, sons of Dapitan's most prominent families. Rizal taught classes while lounging in a hammock with the boys seated on a bamboo bench. They learned arithmetic, geometry, English, and Spanish as part of a very rigorous curriculum. One boy grew up to be a datu. Another, a star pupil named Jose Asenero, became governor of Zamboanga. Rizal designed and constructed an aqueduct system, and combined with his medical training, he rid the town of malaria. With his own hands, he even built a swimming pool. He saw patients at his clinic, offered convalescence at his hospital huts, and grateful Dapitan residents sent him gifts of livestock. His mother, who had come to stay with her son the doctor, was treated for her failing eyesight. It was during this bucolic time, towards the end of his Dapitan years, that Jose Rizal met the Irish woman Josephine Bracken, who was to become his wife. At one point, Dr. Jose Rizal said, "I have not the slightest objection to stay always in this place." I love history and old things and prefer them to the precise lines and cold symmetry of urban design. But can nostalgia and the distant past be captured in the digital photograph? How does a travel photographer record the spirit of a place or a hero? There's the Baluna tree that was here when Rizal first bought the property in 1892. Now grown so large that it would take a few men to encircle with their arms. How likely that Rizal the gardener tended to it when it was just a young sapling. Yet the house that stands on this land is just a replica. The wood is not old, although it is of the very same material Rizal used to build his home in exile. So powerful is the influence of our national hero that these women are drawn here daily. Present-day followers and admirers of one of the greatest minds the country has ever produced. The women are an eerie presence, like sentinels, more eager to share their knowledge of Rizal than a smile. As the heat of the day dissipates into the trees like ghosts, and the crickets signal the onset of dusk, the peace that settles here has to be the very same sensation Rizal enjoyed so deeply on many evenings, right on this very spot. This was the view he shared, standing on a balcony very similar to this one, with his wife Josephine Bracken. There are very few authentic relics at Rizal's shrine. among them a school desk and a blackboard on which Rizal wrote lessons. Yet the martyr spirit is still very much tied to the land and continues to touch the hearts of devotees. But my fascination with objects touched by people long gone would soon be fired up, thanks to a bit of detective work. We learned that Rizal had given his 4-poster bed to his brightest pupil, the boy Jose Asenero, and that the bed had become a family heirloom. Could we possibly track it down? The streets of Dipolog are dotted with ancestral homes, many of them over a century old. They are constructed out of hardwood and at times are maintained by descendants of the townspeople who built them, who, if politely pressed, are willing to open their doors to curious strangers. And then we came upon it. A street named for the student who inherited Rizal's 4-poster bed, then grew up to be governor. And on that street, we are welcomed into the Asenero home. It is here that descendants of Jose Asenero have created a family shrine of their own. There is a Canon for every type of user. Travel photographers can now experiment as documentary photographers with compact cameras that also double as video cams. The Canon PowerShot SX210IS is a compact super zoom that raises the bar in high zoom wide-angle photography. Boasting a genuine wide-angle lens, 14.1 megapixel resolution, this is a highly flexible little gadget that can